Alrighty guys, so what I've done here is I have shoved a ton of steel wool into this hole, because this is where they were coming in at right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a metal patch to go around here, all the way around there. We're going to glue and screw a patch on there to keep them from being able to get through there. So what we need to do is we're going to make a template of the shape of the hole that we need to make, because it's not completely round. So we're going to take a piece of paper here and put it over the hole. And then take a pencil and we're going to scribe where the hole is. And we can kind of see how our hole is. So we'll transfer our marks here that we made and cut out a piece of metal to go in there. Alright, now we'll take our paper here and we'll cut out the outline that we made and the shape that we need. And we'll cut out our shape. Alright, so that's roughly the shape we need. Now what we'll do is we got us an old license plate. We'll put our shape on our license plate right here. And then we'll trace that out with a paint pen or a marker or something. Whatever we can find. Got a black paint pen here. We'll just hold this down here and we'll trim it out. We'll make an outline here of our shape. Alright, so that's the shape that we need to make. So now all we got to do is cut out our plate like that. So we'll cut that out, but we need to make it on the outside of this line, because we're going to put screws on the outside right here. So we're going to trim to the outside. So what we'll wind up doing here is making another line and give ourselves some room to put screws. Like that. That way we can put screws in here when we screw it and glue it. Alright. What I'll probably wind up doing is taking that and use a bandsaw on it and just cut around the outer edge there and cut that off, and we'll see what we got. Alrighty, so I cheated a little bit and used a cutoff wheel and just went around there as good as I could. So we'll take this out there and see how it fits. Alrighty, so we'll set this up in there like that. And that looks like a pretty good fit right there. So yeah, that's going to work. So what we'll do is we'll mix up some epoxy and put around this rim right here around the outside where them two lines are. We'll put epoxy on there. And then that way we can screw it in and epoxy it. And it'll be good and it won't go nowhere. So that'll be our repair. Alright, so we mixed us up some epoxy here. And then we'll just start spreading it on here. All the way around there. Alright, and then we just stick our plate on there. place. Right there. Now we'll get us some screws and we'll screw it in. Alrighty, that about gets it right there. That'll keep anything from getting in right there. Alright, now we'll just vacuum all this crap up right here and then we can start putting it back together. Alright, let's get this thing back together. Okay, so we got our wire harness routed. It's important to note that the wire harness goes on top of the brace. Where the column bolts up, it goes on top of the brace. And it goes behind the metal H-frame, the structure. It goes on the back side all the way down through there to the HVAC. All the way to the fan over there where it plugs into the door. So just remember that. I had it on the front earlier, and that's not right. It's got to go on the back side of that so that this metal is sitting to the outside towards the passengers, towards the seats there. So now we got that straightened out. We're going to move on to this vent system right here, and this thing is a piece of work right here. I'd rather pull an engine than I would do this job. I'm just going to be honest with you. But we got to get it back together. But let's see if we can wrestle this vent system and get it put back together so that we can put it all back in. Alright, so I had to go to the store and I got a box of clips. It's just a universal plastic clip kit, because we're going to need a bunch of clips, because a couple of them I broke taking this thing off, so we're going to have to replace some. So let's see what we got. I'll just pick one that looks kind of close. This piece right here has a collector on it, and it slides down over the top, and there's push pins that go in there to hold that in. And that's a real piece of work right there. I do not enjoy that. But we'll make it work. Okay. Now we got that on. It's kind of like a manifold that sits on top of the air ducts here. And inside this collector, there is a screw right in there on that tube. And it is a pain in the butt to get situated. And I'm actually reaching up inside the tube here to try and get it started. There it is. Yeah, that sucks right there. Oh, I got it. Whew. That's a fun one right there. Alright, now. That's on there, that's on there. Alright, I guess another vent to put in. Alright, this one goes in there. Okay, now, how do we get this in here? Oh look, it's got to go in first. Okay, yeah, alright, that's getting better by the minute. Does not go in yet, because this one has to go in behind there. There like that. So it overlaps like spaghetti. Okay. There we go. Yep. Okay, so that one goes there. That goes there. That one goes there. And that one goes there. Okay. So it goes like this. That's how it goes. Okay, I think that's about got it for this side. I'll go over here and see what we got on this side now. I'm going to switch y'all out so I can get over there. Okay, let's see if we can tackle this other side on the vents. Let's see what we got here. Okay, that looks pretty good right there. Don't forget your light sensor. It needs to stay up here on top. Don't want to bury that. and your speaker wires. We got some speakers here that we got to hook up, and they're the little white ones here, so leave them up there where you can get at them. And then we'll go ahead and set this thing back into place. And we'll just hang that speaker wire right there where we can see it. Alright, now we'll just pick it up a little bit and set it in. There we go. That way we don't tear our seal right here. Underneath here. Alright, that looks pretty good. Try not to cut yourself too. This stuff is razor sharp. I recommend wearing gloves. Alright, put a bolt in there to keep it from falling out. Because hopefully this will be the last time we'll have to push this in. I guess we can go ahead and put in our mounting bolts here and go ahead and tighten that down. But before I do that, I've got 2 silver bolts that need to go in here. So there's 2 silver hidden bolts that go underneath that column right there, and I'll show you that. Because don't forget those; those are hard to see and easy to miss. So these 2 bolts right here, those right there, don't forget those. They go up underneath here in a cavity. And if you don't know they're there, you'll miss them. And it'll be hard to get this off. You won't be able to get it off. So it's right behind the stud. There's a hole. Alright, so I'm going to get them started like that. I got them started. Now I'm going to go back and put these mounting bolts in the frame here. Okay, she's taut. She ain't going nowhere now. Now we'll make our electrical connections in the floor down here and get ready for our dash to go back in. Before we put our dash back in, we got to go back and tighten up those 2 bolts before we forget. Alrighty, got those tight. Now we'll make our connections over there in the corner. And this is going to be a little hard to see, but I'm going to go right down in there and hook up those connections down there in the corner. Okay, now we got 3 ground connections that we took off that we need to make sure we get those tight before we put our dash back in. I'm going to put this up temporarily here to make it where I can get in here. I'm going to drop it back down when we put our dash in though. There we go. Okay. Our ground connections are 1 right here. This one right here has got to get tight. Okay, number 2 is right in here. Okay. And number 3 is right here on the left side of the steering column. Alright, I got those tight. Now, we'll go ahead and drop our steering column back down and get ready to put our dash in. And I think we are ready for the dash. I do believe. Grab us a dash. Alrighty. Now, that looks pretty good. Now we need to start getting our wires poked through the correct holes here. Okay, that's all heating and air right there. This is all radio right here. And then we got airbag over here. So I guess the first thing we need to do is get this airbag hooked up. Alrighty, we got our wires fished through, so now all we got to do is start putting screws in and getting her bolted up. always a good idea to put your column covers on first before you put your column up in there, because it just makes life easier. So the only other thing really left to do up here under the hood is I need to hook up the heater hoses right there. I had to cut those off because they were stubborn. They did not want to come off. And so it comes out of the heater core and goes, there's a tube right there. One of them goes there, and then the other one comes down here. The other one comes down here on the back of this little coolant pump right here, or coolant valve. That's what it looks like. It goes right in there. And that is a funky turning little bunch of hoses right there, 2 hoses. I tried to go to the parts store and get them at O'Reilly's and at AutoZone and all that, and they just don't have that stuff yet for these. So I had to special order a hose kit. And they are proud of this thing. It was like almost $100 for this, but it comes pre-bent and ready to go. So if it was for me, I probably just would have ran some hose in here and made it work, but this is not my truck, and so I want to make sure that it runs right and everything's how it should be. So I went ahead and bit the bullet and got the new pre-bent hoses that are made for this truck. So we're going to put these hoses on here and then fill up the coolant, and then that'll be about it under the hood, except for the air conditioning. We got to get that recharged. And this has that 1, 2, 3, 4Y refrigerant in it. So of course that means none of my fittings on my 134A are going to work anymore. So we get to go get us a new manifold set with new fittings on it. So what I'm going to do is probably start at the bottom down here on this pump. Put us some spritz inside here so it'll lube it up and make it go on easy. So that we can twist it and manipulate it how we want to. Because it's kind of a funky deal here. That's where it's going eventually. I think I need to be on the other side of this dipstick here. It's going to go there. Go up there, and then that goes on there. And then this comes down here and goes on this. You got all that? Alright. There. And we got these little clips here. And this one, I'll go ahead and spray it. Maybe. There we go. Get some of that in there. And that goes on here. And that. And these go up here. So we got these clips that clip onto this rail. Like that. Then we'll just spritz these two. Put these on. It says top on that one. Oh. And then they put these tabs on there that you can pull off with the pliers. And it should make life easier for us. So you pull that tab off there and it makes them lock down. Yep. Looks good. One more. Alright, that should have it. Okay. Now pull this one down here. And we got one more. That's a pretty good little deal. That's a pretty good deal right there, these clips. I like that. It made that real nice. But heck, man, for $100, it ought to be nice. Alright, so we need to get the whatever the juice is in here out, because I'm not sure what that is in there. That's our overflow reservoir. It actually fills it into the radiator through this hose right here. And I don't feel like unbolting this and taking the grill off just to get that out, so we're going to cheat here a little bit. And we're going to pressurize this tank with the hose off, and it'll shoot out of that hose. That's the idea. Maybe I'll just shoot it down there. That's what we'll do. Alright, so just take you an air nozzle and a rag. Stick it down over the hole there like that. And then when you start shooting air in there, it'll push that juice out. There we go. Alright, that worked good. Alright, I went in there and found me a little clamp. And we'll hook our hose back up here. There. Put us a little clamp on it. Now we can go ahead and put our cover back on it before it melts and deforms and everything in the sun. So it's got these push pins on it. Just push them back down in there. Alright, now we'll just go ahead and put some antifreeze in it. And this is a ready-to-use universal here. I like this stuff a lot. Alright, I got that full. Put a cap on, now we'll fill this up. Then we'll check it. So from here on out, it's got a dipstick in there. Right here, and it's got different marks on it and a max line. So we're going to check it with this from here on out, because it should suck it out of that container and put it into the radiator as we need it. Where are we at here? A little bit more than halfway. We've got a little bit more to go. And I'll probably overfill it just a little bit, because I know there's some air in the system. Alright, so we're 1 dot above max. Okay. Now we'll just drive it and then monitor it. Alrighty, now put the knee bolster back in. Okay, snap it in there. 2 screws on the bottom. Alright, now OBD connector and the hood release. Okay, finally, we get the HVAC controls and the transmission controller. Get all that hooked up. Okay. See if we can figure out where this goes. that. Okay. Alrighty, 2 screws in the top. Then we'll put our little mat back in there. Alrighty, I think that has got it. So now we just pop the hood and make connections under there on the battery, and then we are good to go. I'm going to put some battery protector on there, keep those connections from corroding. And then what we'll do is take a battery terminal cleaner brush. It's got 2 pieces. And we'll just go ahead and clean these terminals out. Make sure they're good and clean. These are a pretty cool tool. You can get these for like $1 or $2, you know, and it's also got the brushes in here for cleaning out the terminals, the posts on the battery. You get these at the parts store for, you know, a couple bucks. I've had this one for probably 10 years. And it does good just to keep the things clean. And then get some of this battery terminal protector. This is good stuff. Get that at the parts store too. Give it a little spritz. Swap it down. Now, go ahead and hook everything back up here. Negative. That's a 10. That should have us ready to go right there. Alrighty, so that's pretty much got it here. Everything looks like it's all back together how it should be. So let's see what happens here. See how we did. And it runs. We're going to turn the heat on high over here on your face. Yep. It's blowing. Okay. Alright, so everything looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out here into the driveway and make sure that we don't have nothing leaking. Alright. Everything looks good right there. So we'll just let it warm up. I've got the cap off the radiator. Because I want to fill up the radiator again before I let it run off that reservoir. Yeah. She's blowing good. So my level is still right there. So it hasn't opened. I'm gonna wait on them thermostats to open. And then I'll top it off right there, and then from there on after that, I'll fill it up right here in that jug. So I'm gonna feel these hoses, just look around here, make sure nothing's leaking. Right down there on that tube. Everything looks good right now. So we'll just let her warm up. Well, alrighty guys, that's gonna wrap it up for this one. Got everything back together. We got hot heat, radio works, no check engine lights, all the buttons work, and yeah, we're gonna let this one go. Got rid of our critter, made it where it could not get back in there again. So yeah, we're gonna call this a success and let this one go. But just on a side note, this ain't an easy job. So you need to know a little bit about what you're doing before you attempt something like this, because the duct work behind here and how it's all like spaghettied in there together and all that, I mean, that was a headache. And how the wire harness routes behind everything, and so you need to take your time with it for sure and be careful and don't break anything as you go. I did break something though when I was putting the column back in. Up underneath here, the brake light switch that's connected to the brake pedal, I didn't get it on video because my battery died, but when I was tightening up the bolts and the column came up, it broke the brake light switch. Because the pedal, it's got like a little plunger, a plastic plunger that goes in and out when you push the brake pedal. It was underneath a piece of metal on the bracket where it mounts, and when I came up with the column, it snapped it off, so I had to put a brake light switch in it. But yeah, other than that, I'm really pleased with how it came out. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to excuse me, I'm probably going to unplug the actuator on that recirculation door, because I've got it blocked off now, and I don't want it coming on and off when you switch functions here. So I'm probably just going to unplug it, and I'll leave that door in recirculation all the time mode, because when that door closes, it shuts off the air because it's trying to pull from the outside, and I've got a plate there now, so it has nowhere to pull air from, so it actually restricts the flow coming out of here. So I'll probably just reach up under there behind the glove box and just unplug it and just leave it, because we don't need it no more. We've disabled it. So yeah, hopefully we won't have any more critter problems in here, and this will be a good truck for many, many years to come. And yeah, that'll about do it. We'll top off the refrigerant, and we got to make real sure that don't leak. Man, this has got that 1, 2, 3, 4 Freon in it. Man, that crap is expensive, man. A can, you know, like a 12-ounce can. I mean, R134A gets $30, okay? This stuff's $78, almost $80 a can. It's twice as expensive, so you got to really be careful with your Freon on this, because, I mean, you got to finance it through AutoZone or whatever to get it, because the stuff's just, it's highway robbery what they're charging for this stuff now. But anyway, yeah, we'll do that, and the air conditioning will be good and everything, and yeah. So once again, you know, thanks for sitting through my videos. I know they're long, and I'm sorry they're so long, but I do that on purpose, because if you're doing a job like this and, you know, you need to see certain things or whatever, it's nice to be able to fast forward into certain parts of the video and see, you know, did that screw go there? Did that bolt go here? You know, how did that fit together, kind of a thing. You know, and if you get bored with it, y'all know how to do it, man. You just fast forward through it, you know, and skip on to the next part or whatever. But I just want to be able to help people do this job, you know, that need to be able to do this job, that can't afford to take it somewhere to get it done. I'm telling you, man, you go to the dealership, they're going to charge you just, I mean, that'd have been probably $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 to do what I just did right there. It's crazy. Just crazy. So, anyway, I'm babbling on, but you guys have a good week, and we'll catch you next time.